Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're having a really good day so far. In this video, I'm going to show you how I accidentally knit the wrong pattern at the edges of my cardigan that I'm working on. And I meant to do the double moss stitch, but forgot to, and I worked a 2x2 rib for some reason. And I'm going to show you in a brief tutorial exactly how you can drop down many stitches to fix your knitting so that something that you've been working on as much as this is not all going to waste. And so you can just re-knit only the stitches you need to by dropping down vertically across many rows. This is really something that can be more easily done when there's no increasing or decreasing involved. In this case, I have only one salvage stitch on the right hand side. A lot of the times that's not always the case. If I were to have to re-knit the side edge, I might rethink whether I want to use this method. If it's just a few rows, I'd honestly probably rather just rip back a few rows and re-knit the entire rows because I find that it can be quite fiddly with adjusting the gauge. But because I have at least one stitch on that side, this is completely salvageable, and I want to show you exactly how I did it. It can get a little wonky with the gauge, but when you have a nice woolly yarn like this one, this is a gorgeous yarn from Green Mountain Spinnery. It's their worsted organic Vermont in that gray color. To get started, I'm going to take a extra needle of the same size, and I'm going to slip the first stitch because that is one I don't need to drop down and correct. And if you were in the middle of your work, you would slip all the stitches till you get to exactly the few stitches you need to drop down. I'm going to pop these 6 stitches off my needle. Now I'm going to lose that stitch marker, so I'm going to mindfully set this aside and remember to put that back. And I'm going to very gently, actually I really don't want to drop this stitch here, and because I have just one, I'm going to take my stitch marker I just set aside, and I'm going to use this to hold the stitch as a live stitch. It's going to be a lot more secure than if I were to have it on a slippery needle like that. And then with this tool, I can gently pick each row out and try not to adjust the tension too much. Hopefully you've caught your mistake much sooner than I just did. The fun thing about knitting is you can fix your mistakes, and rarely does anyone even know. In fact, they think, I don't know what they think. Especially non-knitters, what are they thinking? All right, here we go. Let's go. We got our knit, purl, knit. I picked up the right row, and I know it because I marked that stitch. Woo! Halfway there. This actually held together quite interestingly. I've never had to do it with just one stitch, and I'm really glad I thought to use that marker because it's holding up all right. So this is where I really need that extra needle, because you don't want to use the same one you have up here. That's going to distort it and be all weird. Leave that needle alone. Grab your empty needle, grab your spare needle. We're going to slip these stitches onto the left. I'm going to leave that stitch marker there because it's not hurting anybody. And I'm going to find the lowest row of yarn, and you can see that's this one here. I'm going to separate that one from the rest. And what do I need to do now? I need looks like I have 2 knits. I'm going to purl, so I'll bring this in front. I'm going to be not too tight, but I'm going to remain somewhat loose. And I'll do my purl, knit, and this is where you really want to be mindful just to let the yarn slip through your fingers, because this should be a little bit awkward. Maybe you are going to go about that last stitch a little bit differently, a little bit more delicately, because there should be no big gap when you're done. Another thing too to fix with the tensioning is instead of slipping all the stitches back onto the left needle, you could kind of slip one at a time, and that allows you to redistribute some of the gauge. All right, so we got one row done. Just slip those stitches back onto my needle. And there I have fixed my Rowe cardigan by Wang. Thank you for watching. Once again, you can find me on social media as Tayloreowen on Ravelry, Instagram, Twitter. I'm Taylor Knits on TikTok. I hope that you all have a wonderful day and that you take